It was actually earlier this year that I was there, and it was a good
Oh,
visit. Had a good time.
oh man. When was it? What month? Like
Uh,
winter or summer?
I think it was. Whoa, there's a big. Do you hear the echo?
I wonder. Yeah, I do a little bit, but do you hear it from me?
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from, but let me just unplug and replug real quick.
Okay.
Just start it.
It wasn't that bad. It was I could hear a little bit of an echo. It wasn't I've heard much worse.
Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, it's definitely on your end. It's when you're talking,
Is it? Let's see. I wonder.
and it just started.
Hmm. Well, you know what? I just started the recording too.
Maybe
I
that's why.
wonder. I wonder if why don't can you jump out and jump back in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Let's try that.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Let's see. Hey, Jamie, you can hear me talking or what? Because let's figure it out here.
Yeah, even
Oh,
when
you
you
don't
were
hear
out,
the echo? You mean?
even when
Let's
you
see.
were out of the room, I could hear it. Or when I was out of the room, I could hear it when you were talking.
Okay. I'm not hearing. Are you still hearing it on my end? Or
Yeah,
is it
I
gone?
guess. Yeah, if no one's hearing an echo in the chat, then that's good. I can deal with it. That's no problem.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not hearing it from you. Hey, Kristen, what's
Hey
going
guys,
on? Hey, Jamie, thanks for jumping in.
I'm not hearing an echo.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's all
Yeah,
good news.
so I wanted to set the record straight.
I
So
think
you
I
guys are
found it. It was on my end. I fixed it.
you got it
Okay.
taken care of.
Hmm.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, let's thanks for jumping in, Jamie. Let's I started recording already, but let's do a little official intro and welcome everyone to the Social Media Club Phoenix Weekly. Title's not long enough. With our special guest this week, Mr. Ryan Pena, right? That's how you say it.
That's right.
That's right. Okay. And Ryan is the social media manager for MobCon. Now, are you social media manager for MobCon US or all of MobCon?
All of MobCon. So we're
Okay.
we're actually trying to, because we're growing, the conference is growing. We're trying to, kind of reinvent our naming of it so it makes more sense, because we're going to be doing different conferences next year that have different purposes.
Yep.
So yes, it is all over, all of MobCon, all of our mobile
Okay.
conference.
Which is all over it's worldwide, right?
Yep.
And then I can't leave Jamie out. Jamie has joined us on our Blab before. Jamie is local here to the Valley of the Sun
I'm a local
area.
guy. Can you
You
hear me?
are. You are. I can
Yeah,
hear you.
I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
I bumped my USB thing and it disconnected me. I got to refresh.
Little
I'll be right
frozen.
back. Be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ryan, thanks for taking some time out. I know I have a similar. I'm not going to say problem because it's not a problem.
Yeah,
But I have a 2-year-old, and she was actually just going pretty insane, which is why I was like even a minute or two late on here.
Oh my God.
There you go,
Isn't
Jamie.
that great? Isn't that great? Yeah,
So-
my daughter's in the background right now. She's in the other room, and she knows that I told her I'm gonna be on the phone, because I mean, if I said I'm gonna be on a Blab, she'd be like, "What's that?" But
Right.
she's 3.5, and so she's actually in the other room singing to herself. I mean, this is her bedtime, but she usually has been challenging getting to bed lately. So we had a long talk about this, and I think she got it. She wants to impress me, so we'll see what happens.
That's so cool, man. Yeah. So I mean, it was funny because when I was just looking more into your profile and your background and everything, I was reading your About Me page.
Oh yeah.
And I have mine up. I guess still it's up there. I haven't checked it in a little while. I think it's been current for a little while. But yours, you were talking about your daughter and how when she was born, and I actually am lucky enough to have I have a 15-year-old teenager, and then she's awesome, and she's like the big sister and always wanted the little sibling.
Oh.
And so now we have she's 2, Valentina is her little, what's her name? Yeah, we call her Valcal. That's her. That's the social media side of me coming out. I gave her her own hashtag, and
You gotta do that. Yeah.
But yeah, I was seeing the pictures, man. Your daughter's adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful handful. Tell you.
Yes,
definitely.
Jamie, I think you're good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, we got movement.
You're not
I
frozen. Yeah,
I moved my microphone and I bumped the USB plug into my laptop for my webcam, so disrupted the signal.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for joining in, and we weren't sure if Ryan was going to be able to jump on right now or a little bit later, but either way, it's all good. And then if it was an open seat, if anyone else wants to jump on with us, feel free. I see some familiar names in here, Caitlin and Kristen, and some other folks I haven't met yet, but I'm sure if you jump in, we will. So I guess why don't we just kind of jump in and Jamie, feel free to, I have some questions prepared. Ryan, it's nothing crazy. That's why I didn't send them to you, because it's nothing like.
That's all right.
You really don't need to prepare for it.
I prefer this anyway. I prefer the unscripted. Yeah, it's good.
Good. But and to even say that they're questions, it's more like little points. I just wanted to make sure that we got in the discussion. Yeah. I know you've done a few of these already, and I think you were on the one with Carlos and Tayo, right? Was it the hustle culture one, or was it Carlos with Saba?
I wasn't on one of his yet. I haven't gotten the invite actually, but he's been on a couple Carlos? He's been on a couple that I've been popped in on. And gotcha. And we've done before Blab, we've done some hangouts. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? Oh, I had my first Blab that I did a couple months back. He was my guest, so it's kind of been flip flop. But yeah,
you know what? That's Kristen just said. That's what I was thinking of. It was Social Business Hour.
Yes,
that I saw that on.
Yeah, and that crew.
Yeah, Kristen and all of them. Inimitable Mr. Fanzo and CK and Rachel and all.
Yes, such an honor to be on that show too. It was a crazy fun conversation. Good energy.
Yeah, they're always good. I mean, Brian's all over the place. He's a nut. It's funny because me and Brian used to work together here in Phoenix. When he lived in Phoenix. Yeah, we met before he blew up. He and I worked together at the IO data center place, and it was funny because I was a social media manager person, and he was on like the training side. But the story is on my side anyway. Like I got brought in week 1, and I'm in the first week. I'm going through all the accounts, and all of a sudden I see this bald dude with his goatee, and he's tweeting all about the company, and I'm like, who's this knucklehead? What is this guy doing on Twitter? It's a data center, B2B. Like no one is on Twitter. No one's doing anything.
Right.
And all of a sudden I see Brian and he just jumped in here, of course, just in time. He's tweeting and I'm like, I'm gonna have to talk to this guy and see what he thinks he's doing. We're gonna have to have some education about this. And lo and behold, it's him, and he's going insane and doing all awesome stuff from day one and just killed it. He was just he was really him and like maybe one or two other people. Total B2B company, data center. They were the ones that were really like the champions of the social media side, the B2B social selling, all that within the company. So yeah, we that was when we met. That was a couple of years ago. It was actually 2012 or so, about when your daughter was born, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I don't know.
Time flies, man. Wow.
I don't know if I know him in his early day. He served some time over, or not served, but he got to travel over to Afghanistan and stuff. But he was doing it, probably even before me. But I was there right before he rocketed out of the solar system here with all this stuff.
Tell you, man. His recent stint over at IBM, whatever that conference was. I mean, every time I blink, he's somewhere else doing something else.
Yeah, man,
he's pictures with someone else, and I mean, the guy's just inspiring so many people. It's fun to be a part of that journey and watch his show. I'll call it his show because it's awesome.
Well, which one? I mean,
right, exactly. Whole thing.
But yeah, the whole crew, all of them. And then Jamie, why don't you kind of refresh everybody about what you do here in the Valley? I remember, but not everybody in here may have been.
I'm in the home loan business, and what I've done, I basically work with people that are looking at buying homes, and in some cases refinancing, but more people that are buying. And so I work with a lot of realtors. I work within the real estate community, and they are always about 3 phases behind the rest of the world when it comes to technology. So my mission,
unfortunately, yeah.
My goal in life right now is to bring realtors up to speed, primarily on social video. That's kind of what I've been spending my time with, is social video. And, as a loan officer, we try to get meetings with realtors all the time. And we tell them, we got great rates and we got great programs and things like that. And it's, yeah, so does everybody else. But when I call somebody and when I send them a text with a video message in it saying, hey, it's me, it's Jamie, I want to meet with you. They're like, what? What is that? They don't even know what that is.
It's almost like a video on Twitter, right? Like
well, and you can do it with just a text message. You can do it.
Right.
You can do it on Twitter. You can do a tweet. You can do it in an email. I use BombBomb for that. And they're like blown away, and they go, I got to know about that. So it gets me meetings with realtors, which is, I do the social part of it the social video as just a way of generating business. We all have to generate business somehow. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you're a lawyer or you're a doctor. You got to generate business. And I'm pretty good at home loans, but it doesn't mean anything if I'm not bringing the business in. So the social video is my value add, and it's also opened a lot of doors with realtors because they always recognize that they need to get up to speed on it, but they need somebody to show them how. And so that's what I'm doing.
Very cool. That's good to meet you, Jamie, by the way.
Good to meet you. Thank you. And you're Minneapolis.
Yep.
I talked with last night. I had a realtor on my Blab from Engel Volkers. It's a real estate firm. I think they're based in Germany or something like that. But the name of the company is Engel and Volkers. And she was in Minneapolis. She does their marketing.
Cool.
I can tell you her name in a second.
Yeah, Kristen, good point. Miss Minneapolis in the warm months. Yeah, we're having actually kind of a warm November.
Ashley Cohn was her name.
Like 60 degrees, but yeah, it's I had the fireplace on earlier tonight. So
it snowed here in Arizona.
Well, I think it did.
Not in Phoenix, but up in the mountains it did.
Further north, but yeah, it snowed up that way in Flagstaff area. But there was a big warm front in the rest of the country over the last few days that was kind of crazy for November.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. It'll hit you around Thanksgiving. Yeah, man. So actually, it's funny, Jamie. I've been to a couple conferences where and I know of this gentleman. His name is Matt Gentile. He has spoken at a lot of different conferences. He's with Century 21, and is like essentially their director of social media for the brand nationally. And the reason I've paid attention to him a lot is because in my job, I manage the brand for like a network marketing company, which I always compare it to real estate, because we have all these independent distributors that need to know how to market themselves, but they're under the brand of the company. It's like a similar thing in my mind, and it's a good comparison for them to kind of understand what it's all about. And it's so funny because they have to operate under the brand guidelines, but yet they're left to their own marketing devices a lot of times too. And for them to be, when you mentioned about they're slow to take on some of the newer things, I don't know that even they're really utilizing Facebook, many of them at this point, very well, if at all. And so that leads into Snapchat actually, and Ryan is one of the Snapchat go-tos in my opinion. It came up.
Glad I'm here. My Blab last night was Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was doing. I was hoping somebody would tell me. Ryan, I'm all ears.
Oh no! Oh,
I mean, no, I'm not gonna put Ryan on the spot, but I mean, I I think there's definitely a discussion to be had, and it can be, we can talk about it with real estate for sure, right? It applies to anything. I definitely think that if you're an real estate broker, agent, whatever, if you're on the Snapchat train in that business right now, there's definitely ways to utilize it, and you're going to be separated from the rest of the pack because probably next to no one, as far as real estate agents, are using Snapchat for their business, for actually connecting with people and using it. But Ryan, you might be able to talk a little bit more to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, just thinking of this right now without putting much thought into it, I think of the features that are built into Snapchat and how it could be advantageous for, realtors in the area, right? Like, if you're in a fairly, well-known city in your area and Snapchat has created, filters for that where they list your town and kind of have some art on the bottom of it. I can see that, you know what I mean? Like I could see that being a really good, a really nice way of showcasing, houses that are on the market or what you're currently going to be showing to someone or what you just showed to a family. Kind of giving people behind the scenes. And I think that's the beautiful thing about where social media is going with all of these tools that are out there now, like Snapchat and even Periscope, is that these tools are really, really good for behind the scenes highlights, So what I mean by that is like people feel like they're seeing more than what they typically could find on a website or even on social media like Twitter or Facebook, like just stock pictures or a picture you even took on your phone, something live. They will feel more connected to not only that house or whatever you're showing, but also the person that's putting that out. And, like I think of, I don't know if I can name names or whatever, but I think of there's a guy that's in Toronto that has a pizza company.
Oh,
and you know what I'm talking about. And he is on Snapchat, and he's on Snapchat as himself, but a big part of his life is his restaurant, his pizza restaurant. And I feel like if I go to Toronto, I am going to that pizza restaurant. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I am going there. And that's brilliant. And it's because of Snapchat. Like I would have never met this guy unless it was through Snapchat. I don't even know how we got connected on there, but it might've been through Twitter or something like that. But I think like that's where things are going. And to your point, I mean, if you're not out there right now, exploring these avenues, like what Jamie said earlier, I think it's brilliant that you're looking into these things because you're going to have a big leg up on this right now. Yep. No one else is really doing it. Or if they are, it's a very few and far between. So
Vincent,
that's my 2 cents.
Is it okay if I ask Ryan a question? I don't want to take you off track of what you're doing here. So if I'm a realtor, and I'm not, but a lot of my referral sources are, if I'm a realtor, it's funny. There was a realtor on this Blab we did last night, and he goes, on Snapchat, that's all you do with that is, pretty much talking about sexting. I'm going, come on, are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah, right.
That's the misconception.
So, yeah. And I'm like, no, come on. So if I'm a realtor, let me just see if I can list the things that I can do on Snapchat. So my story can be me. Can be, here I am. I'm showing houses. I'm in my car. I'm taking a listing. A realtor's lives are very busy, and it's all day long, and it's all week long. So their story can show who they are, what they do, and the value that they provide, and also their personality, which is what I love about social video, because their personality comes out, in a text and even in a still photo, no personality. So that's one. Okay, you get to know the realtor through Snapchat because now that's their story. Number two, let's say they just took a listing. So now their story is a video of the house, pictures of the house, showing the house, showing other realtors the house. I mean, whatever, all about that house. So that's another thing they can do. So not only can they showcase themselves, they can showcase a property. And what else? So those are two things, and that's kind of what we came up with last night. What else might? And I got a question for you, because I'm just learning Snapchat. My kids showed it to me over the weekend. You can have more than one story, right? Can you do that?
Well, Oh yeah.
You can have multiple stories.
So
So
actually,
one story can be me, one story can be this listing, one story can be that listing. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's even easier than that if you're thinking about it. So
Okay.
you first of all, what you said as far as like some of the benefits of it is spot on. Those are like the key benefits of it. And then taking it a step further, what else is in it for the person doing it? It's also about leveraging this to build a unique brand for yourself. So while your ultimate goal and your immediate goal is to, sell a house,
Sure.
and you may be snapping about that and sharing that experience throughout the day. Hey Ben, good to see you on here. The other part of it is building this brand, this reputation. Like I said, I'm not in Toronto right now. I don't know when I will be, but I know for a fact that when I go there, I'm going to seek this pizza restaurant out and meet this guy in person. Not to say that's the extreme, right? But for locals that are in your area, if they're following you and you're promoting your Snapchat brand on Twitter and other public facing channels, driving people to that for a more live kind of on the go throughout the day story, follow me on Snapchat, here's my handle or my username. When they get on Snapchat and they start to experience what you're experiencing, 6 months down the road, they may be at a point where they're going to start looking for a house.
Right.
Or 3 months down the road, they may run into a friend that's saying, you know what, I need to find a new house. I need to find a new place to live. Check out this person. I've been following them on Snapchat. If you're not on there, just make sure you get in contact with them. They're going to think about this because it's a complete unique experience to them. And they're immersed in the passion, hopefully, that this realtor has for what they're doing, and reaching out to an audience that, in a couple years, this audience is going to be probably budding and wanting to, all get houses, because while it's a very, young audience majority, more and more of those 20s, 30-year-old people out there are gravitating to this platform. And if businesses aren't on there now, they're going to miss out on some big opportunities.
Well, millennials are now, millennials is interesting, and I've got a blab in 6 minutes, so I'm going to cut out just a little bit. But millennials went through a phase where they watched their parents and their friends' parents and lots of people go through the pain and suffering of maybe losing a house. Worst case, having to deal with the whole heart process, so they never wanted to own a home. They were dead set on renting forever. So then they've rented now for 4, 5, 6 years, depending on who they are and how long they've been out of their parents' nest. And they realize that renting sucks because now, you want a dog, you want a cat, you gotta check with the landlord, you gotta pay a security deposit. You want to plant a garden, you gotta check with the landlord. You want to paint a wall, you gotta check with the landlord. Oops, they're raising the rent on us. We're going to stay here. We're going to go look for new places. Oh, we got roommate problems. What are we going to do now? On and on and on. Renting sucks. So then they decided, okay, now we want to buy a house, but we're afraid to buy a house. But they're now getting over that fear through the guidance of some people like me. That's part of what I do, is provide that guidance. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to provide guidance. And so they're getting over that fear. And now suddenly the millennials, which as you know, is 1/4 of the buying population and tremendous buying power, and a whole different demographic in terms of the way they make their decisions. They don't trust advertising. They don't trust institutions. They trust friendships. They trust relationships, and they trust their circle, their tribe, their circle of friends. So the more Snapchat, what could be better for appealing to such a huge home buying market? I mean,
and there's not even much thought. So I didn't even answer your other question about how to use stories. There's not much thought they need to put into it either. So like if you in the morning you're showing 2 houses, and then in the afternoon you're maybe closing on a house with somebody or whatever. Like when appropriate, like those can be 2 different stories that just wrap up. Like how stories work is it's just the past 24 hours, whatever you did in the past 24 hours. So you can button up a story and say another happy customer, another happy homeowner, and then 2 hours later there's another story in your timeline, so to speak, with more information on something else that you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's just it. Like maximum of 10 seconds at a time for a video, or pictures. I mean, there's not much that you can put into it. So I think it's just thinking about how your audience is receiving the story, and making sure that you're framing it up and making sure that they understand what they're seeing. And that can be done by just interviewing someone or just, having the phone right with you and saying, here I am at this house, it's selling for this, and this is what these homeowners are looking for. Whatever you want to say, 10-second story, one after the other, and then you have 30 seconds of just talking about it. And, snapping some pictures, putting some captions in there. People know what they're seeing and why they're looking at it, why you're excited about it, what's unique about this. And then that's really it. You don't have to think about it. If there's a great story, and this is the last thing I would tell you because I know you have to leave in a second. If there's a great story that you capture, say it's a total of a 2-minute Snapchat story with pictures and videos and whatever. Make sure before that 24 hours expires, make sure that that you can go into your Snapchat story and download those video files into one video file on your phone. What that means is then you can repurpose it and use it on Facebook. You can upload it to YouTube.
So
if there's a really good story,
becomes one MP4 file.
Exactly. Yep. Awesome. Exactly. So it does it. I'll show you real quick here. So hold on. So basically, when you go to your storyline, you see your story up here from the past 24 hours. On the other side, you're going to see 3 buttons.
Yeah.
When you click that, it expands all of your snaps from the past 24 hours. And that little icon that you see right there, that's the download icon. And you click that, and now it's downloading all of your story onto your phone all together into one file.
Then that's all the last 24 hours.
Last 24 hours, that's right.
You wouldn't have a separate story on this listing at this address or this showing at that. It's all one story. It's a 24-hour story.
Yep, and you just have to frame it up and exactly frame it up. Say that end one, start another one, and obviously once you download the video file, right, you can then go into like a simple video editing tool, and if you just want to cut out one clip of that, you can do that.
Awesome, I appreciate that info. I got to run. I'm doing. I'm actually doing Facebook tonight, which is the preferred platform by realtors right now. I'm trying to get them to open up and start doing some different things. But we're going to do some stuff on Facebook.
Whatever works, Jamie.
Right?
All right.
Hey, great visit with you guys. We'll see you next time, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, Jamie. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, this isn't like Snapchat advice hour or anything, but I think it's always cool to talk about it. You know what I was thinking about? Like, and this always comes up with Snapchat. It's just like when it came out and how it is, for me, it's definitely the most personal platform, aside from maybe Blab now. But it's personal in the sense of like not everybody's not my friend, or I'm not following everybody on Snapchat either because they're not there yet, or I'm just not for whatever reason. And it's like it's much more choosy in a sense. I think people they curate their list on there a little bit more. And I don't know if that's a generational thing or if like the younger crowd just follows and connects with everybody on there or what, but how do you approach that? Do you just generally like, oh yeah, we're going to connect and I'll follow you until you give me a reason not to, or what do you do?
Yeah. So I think to answer your question about why people will seem to, at least the younger generation, follow whoever or look to get new followers, kind of like what we would see for the, many, many years on Twitter, even still today. But, this whole like, I have so many followers, or here's a secret of how you can get like 5,000 followers in a week.
Right.
Yeah. I'll just kind of full disclosure. It's about making legit connections. But anyway, on Snapchat, the reason why that happens is actually because of the point system. There's a point system when you go on there, when you look at your profile, where your icon is your snap code. There's a point system, and as you use snaps and put things out and share with individual people and connect with more people, you get more points. And so, the gamification piece of it is big. And so that's what kind of causes some of that. But if you're willing to look beyond that, my approach is, I do get a lot of, especially when we have conversations like this, which is fantastic. I mean, I still think I'm learning so much, and I don't know that much about Snapchat, but I'm happy to share my little knowledge with it. That I get these followers, I don't know where they come from, and I'll follow them. I'll follow them back. on Snapchat because I want to get to know them. And there's really no way to really know who they are because Snap doesn't have really profiles or anything like that. So I'll follow them. And then as they show up in my timeline, if their snaps are, well, luckily I haven't had anything inappropriate yet. So probably because I'm a guy, unfortunately, but I wish that wasn't the case for women, that they had to worry about that stuff, but they do. But I haven't got anything inappropriate, but I've gotten some things that's just like, I don't know why this person wants to connect with me. Their snaps don't make any sense. They're just not advantageous to my network. Like for example, there was one where it was literally just dark snaps all the time and then some weird scribbles. Like that's all it was for like 2 weeks that I was connected to them. So then I just removed them from my feed because I do, when I have time, I do like looking at my feed and watching literally all the snaps, see what people are up to, and also learning from them because in my profession, I'm always learning on how people do things. Ben, who's in this room, great example of someone that I'm always learning from. That guy is an inspiration.
Absolutely.
Hi, Ben.
And Ben, if you want to jump in, man, so Ben and I have never actually connected even on video. We talk all the time, and here he comes. Good. Okay.
You don't want to see him on video. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, poor internet signal. Oh,
poor guy. Are you feeling better, buddy?
A little bit. I'm feeling a little bit better.
I know
not as
he's
stuck.
been sick earlier this week.
what's up, Ben?
How's it going?
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's good. Got one kid down, and another one's eating dinner, so that's how it is.
Yeah, mine are all still awake.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I think mine stopped singing, so that's good.
Yeah, but you're the computer.
Oh, stop it! But keep going.
Because she eats meatballs.
She does eat meatballs.
Oh, that Italian. Yeah, I saw that. That was good. Good. Yeah, no, this is good. You know what? I'm gonna have to change the title on this right now because this is too much Snapchat in one blab to not.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben, you do look amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Adam hit it spot on. Wow. I mean, you kind of look like you're falling down a little bit, but you're not. Like, I'm going to do a Ben right now. Wait, I got to go over a little bit. Here we go.
Here we go. All right.
There it is.
So, what are we going to talk about, guys?
There you go. We're going to talk about Snapchat still. Because honestly, I want to talk to you guys about Snapchat because my experience is very new. It just maybe in the last 6 months. I'm definitely one of the people that created an account when it first came out, within the first few weeks, and got on it and was like, oh, well, I don't really need to be on this right now. And then from there, I let it just sit there for 2 years until 6 months ago. And it's because a lot of my friends were on there. And then, I met Ben. Ben, I discovered is huge on Snapchat and started learning from him. And, just the stuff that's on there, like the stories. I get the biggest kick out of the stories that show up from like the different cities and events. I've really been enjoying the political stuff, and I'm not a super political person, but the way that they're presenting those with, the behind the scenes and the candidates, just so it's so funny to see some are actually good on it and some are not, but they still keep doing it. Like not making any political claims whatsoever in terms of one side or another, but like Bobby Jindal is on there all the time, and Bobby Jindal is like, he's very stiff. He's very stiff when he does his message. He's like, "Hey guys, and welcome to the Snapchat," and blah blah blah. But
the old
yeah, Bob Dole, Bill Clinton. Yeah, no pen though. But then you get someone like trying to think. Martin O'Malley looked very comfortable in front of it, which makes sense. He's like one of the younger candidates, one of the guys there's no pressure on him. He's not going to win anything. He's not really in the public eye as much as the others. But it just, you can definitely tell the guys that are more accustomed to it than others. And that's just one example. I mean, obviously the sports has been a big deal on there. World Series and NFL games, those are super cool. But it was funny because when you were talking with Jamie a few minutes ago, we lost Ben. That's okay. when you were talking with Jamie a few minutes ago, Ryan, you know what I was thinking was with the real estate stuff. It's for me, like I could see a lot of value in if I'm the agent and if I can get the person to connect with me on Snapchat, that's huge, right? Just initially, number one, if they're using Snapchat, the audience is going to matter, obviously. But if I can get them to connect with me there, then I can use that. I could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be a story. It could be, oh, I just got this, a little video about I just got this new listing and look at this kitchen. Do you believe this place? Just the smaller connections to me would be even more because it's even less salesy. It's just a straight connection. Like, hey, we're buddies. Look at this place.
Well, yeah. And I mean, if you're, a realtor, I would think that this would be something that would make their day a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
If you're a realtor and you're in between your showings, like you said, you're maybe getting a house prepped or doing a walkthrough and looking at a house you're potentially going to put on the market, whatever they do. I mean, I'm not a realtor, I don't know, but I can imagine there's a lot of things that they do on their own. And I mean, bringing Snapchat in the mix, it's going to make it more exciting, right? Because you get to kind of be like a live reporter on the scene all day long. And, it might take a little bit of getting comfortable, having the phone and filming yourself, but just know that that's the beauty of Snapchat. It's unfiltered, it's real, and that's what's going to be the most beneficial is when it's authentic and not super dressed up or anything like that. So I think that could actually make their days a little bit more exciting. And maybe even doing what like our buddy Chris does with his yo-yo company. When he sends people out or when he goes to some of those competitions, he'll have people use his Snapchat, account and kind of go snap under his account. And it's really cool. So I think like if you have a pretty cool or a pretty good customer that, is, in their 20s, 30s, is on Snapchat, is big into the whole thing, is really feeling it. Say, you know what, hey, I'm going to give you my Snapchat. Are you up for this? I'm going to give you my Snapchat username, password for the first day that you get to your house, and feel free to snap the experience if you want to. I mean, if you just say to people like, do that, can you imagine how crazy awesome that would be if people that are following that realtor sees those snaps from a person's point of view, someone that just got a house, first house, they've been in an apartment for 10 years, and they're in love with their significant other, and maybe they're in love with their dog, and they're just like, look at my dog, and I love this house. It's so fantastic. Whatever it might be. Like that kind of stuff it's out there. It's ready to be created. And all we got to do is just do it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep. Ben, anything to add?
Yes. In fact, okay, so I was having this conversation the other day with somebody that, yeah, I know. So I was having this conversation the other day, and the biggest problem I see, oh, hey, buddy. Biggest problem I see is a lot of people from the marketing perspective of, well, how do you sell on Snapchat? I mean, how is that even possible? Like, what are you going to do? It's like, okay, well, here's the problem is that you're coming onto it to sell. If you come onto any platform to sell, okay, you're an idiot. That's just a byproduct. Hold on a second. Hunter, stop, buddy. But here's the other thing of it is if you have other platforms that you're successful on, like let's say Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, you acquire your customers there, you retain them on Snapchat. Snapchat is the ultimate in nurturing either an existing customer or potential customer. It's not necessarily about acquisition, it's about retention. Yes, you can acquire, Brian, that's a great idea about those realtors. The hard part about for a lot of people to grasp on Snapchat is the fact that it's not so easy to go find people to follow you. There are many steps involved. It's kind of a closed system. So you're not going to be out there to find new customers per se. But look at like Chris McEwen, we're talking about COYW. So they don't necessarily look to gain new customers, acquire new customers on Snapchat. They take the customers they've already got and they make them fans for life on Snapchat. And that's the value of it. And that's what people aren't really understanding is they're thinking, well, how do I monetize this? How do you monetize it? You keep an existing customer. That's how you monetize it. What's the cost of that? So That's my 2 cents right now.
That's more than 2 cents. I mean, that's on the money, I think. I mean, that's for me, that's how I kind of view most social media anyway. Is I don't view it as much as people want to monetize things and use it for social selling and all. Yeah, that exists, but I mean, the point of it and the best usage of it is not that. It is the retention. Really, even Facebook, even Twitter, I mean, all that stuff. It is the best usage is in the retention side. And if you can master that, then that's going to bring you more monetization, more ROI than anything else ever will, probably.
Yep.
Good point, Ben. Hey, have you guys ever met in person?
Feels like it.
It feels like it, yeah. We snap enough.
Yeah. No, we haven't met in person yet. So one day, I haven't met Carlos in person. I haven't met anyone here in person. I haven't met Brian. I haven't met. I'm trying to think if there's anybody nobody really wants to meet me. So.
Actually, Ryan, do you know who else is in Minneapolis? I don't know if you know him or are friends with him or what. But Adam?
No, I haven't met Adam, but I have met Colleen. You may have seen Colleen pop around here and there. She's kind of in the circle of all the social media peeps out there. She subscribed to this too. I don't know if I don't think I've seen her in here, but anyway, she was someone that I've met because she's in Minneapolis.
Cool. If I saw her avatar, I bet I would know exactly who
you'd
it
recognize
is. Her. Adam Dintz is in Minneapolis. Adam is part of the couple. Him and Jermaine Young do spoof chat on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Adam is in Minneapolis. He I think he's originally from New York though, but he came out to Phoenix, met up with him, did a little happy hour. He's also a New England Patriots fan. So we watched the game. Yeah, I'm just saying that just because it just happens to be part of the little story. But yeah, we met up and hung out, and he was a cool guy.
Man.
But yeah, no, well, so now actually, Ryan, I want to, Ben, feel free to stick around, but I definitely want to get into Ryan and what makes Ryan and and MobCon and all that stuff.
Exactly what makes.
I'm seeing that. Right. Yeah.
8:45, baby.
Well, you did warn me. You warned me, Ryan. You said I'm probably gonna have some extra cups of coffee, and I'm gonna have a long day. And
yeah, my day started at 5 this morning, so I'm a morning person. I usually in about 15 minutes is when I call it quits, and I'm in bed. But for Vincent, I'm gonna do anything.
Well, we appreciate your time, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I definitely want to help, because I think that. I can't attend the conference in person, and we'll get into the live streaming and the conference too. But I actually I'd like to ask you, about you first off, because I can do all the research in the world on your Twitter account and everything and get a good idea. But I definitely want to hear about how did you end up doing what you do? Because everyone's got this with people that are social media managers like you and I, and do social media for a living like Ben. There's always some story as to, well, they were all over here doing this and now they're doing social media. Yeah.
So, no, you're right.
What's your backstory?
You're right. Cause it's not like we thought one day I'm going to go to school for social media. That doesn't exist even still. So, so it definitely, it didn't fall on my lap. It definitely was a passion of mine before the opportunity came. So, I would go back about 6 years ago. 7 years ago, I was working for a B2B staffing agency. I was doing outside sales, basically working with doing kind of cold calls. Really wasn't my thing, by the way.
I'm
really
with you.
Don't really like doing that. And so, imagine me trying to be aggressive with somebody. It just ain't going to happen. Everyone was like, "Oh, please answer the phone, and I'll talk. I just want to talk to you about something. Don't hang up." No, it just doesn't work. So, I started doing that. I was doing that for 4 years, but about 6-7 years ago, I was doing it. I was in the middle of it, and I was just like, everyone's picking up the phone and dialing these cold calls. Like, why aren't we leveraging LinkedIn and just like making leveraging that as my basically my digital Rolodex even. I mean, we were using a CRM system that had, a lot of the contacts were outdated, weren't current. I'd go on LinkedIn and I'd find like 10 new managers that I could call on IT based on just looking at company that was assigned to me and then managers that are in IT in that company. And so then I'd start reaching out to them initially on LinkedIn and trying to establish a connection, and then trying to provide them with value. Like what Ben said earlier, if you're just going to go and just try to call or reach out to someone and sell, it ain't going to work. I mean, that just really doesn't work. And even more so in today's world, because people are smarter with all the resources that we have and all the connections that we have. So started doing that. I got really passionate about it. And then sales reps and management around me saw what I was doing, and they're like, hey, can you train other sales reps in the district on how to leverage LinkedIn? And so I started doing trainings for about 3 or 4 districts in the area. And I wrote the training. The training actually was something that the corporate office out in California asked if I could do a whole training document for their corporate office to roll out, because they have offices all over the globe. And so I did that. And then right after that was done, it was time to get back to the books. They said, okay, this is great. I know you're passionate about it, but we need you to kind of get back to your job. And so, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, hey, that was fun. I love doing this. And then things happened right after that. I got a buddy of mine recruited me to this job in higher ed. And this was over 4 years ago. And when I got into this job in 2010, actually it was 5 years ago, I started as another sales job, but it was not cold calling. I was doing B2C with potential students, people that inquired about going to school. Yeah. And so right away, I'm like, our average student at the time when I was working there was 40 years of age. They are big into Facebook, and they still are even more now. And I was like, LinkedIn's not the spot for this, but like, if these are online students and we're 100% online, these are online students. Why aren't we talking to them online? We're just trying to make these calls and expect that they're going to answer the phone every time. Yep. So I, timing worked out good. They knew I was passionate about that. And they said, we are an online institution. You have this idea. Let's run with it. Let's explore it. So for a year, I was still in the job on paper, but I was full-time running this pilot with 12 other enrollment counselors, where we were testing out using Facebook as another method of communication. It was going really well. We were retaining contacts. We would get people that would, without even soliciting to them, which we don't really like calling it that, they would come back to us and say, hey, I'm ready to start now. They would send a private message on Facebook. And these personal connections, they were just at the very least being able to put a face to a name online versus just a voice on a phone or text in an email. And so that I basically proved the need for a universal social media communication strategy at this university with like 36,000 students all over the world. And so I made the job. We got the first social media job at the company in 2011, 2012-ish. And then I started that. I rolled that out. So 140 employees that do recruiting for students in different programs. All 140 of them had an individual Facebook page. I trained them on all of it. I got them all on board with it. I did all the content that I would send to them to post on their pages, and I also did all of the reporting on that. And then next step was launching a community for the students. So I launched that. And then earlier this year, a really, really good friend and someone I respect deeply that's in a marketing role recruited me out of there. And then I went into where I'm at now, which is a mobile application development company called MentorMate. And we are the ones behind MobCon. We are the ones that run the mobile conference that is now going to be all over the U.S. In 2016. So, and we have one coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that too, that connection. Because I know originally I saw they make the app for the conferences. Yep. But I want to go back to that role with the higher ed online university. Yeah. Was that like 2010? You said?
Yeah, it was 2010 until earlier this year.
Because it's so funny. I worked I wasn't on the marketing side. I was more like 2010. I was actually in the admissions side on the phone, doing that whole side, and it was for a competitor, and online university. And I sat there for a year, and I was like, how? And I wasn't anything at all knowledge wise where I am now. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but nothing close, right? And then I used Facebook and here and there, and I had a Twitter account that I didn't use, and I had a LinkedIn profile like everybody else. But I remember sitting there and thinking, like, we're making 400 calls a day on like an auto dialer, and calling the same person 5 times and getting hung up on potentially 3 times out of those 5, and you're playing the percentages of hitting like 1% and actually getting a conversation going and talking to people, hitting them at the right time and all that. Like, isn't there a better way? Like, it just felt like there was these other channels, and I didn't understand the power of them at that time myself, but it felt like there was something there that you could use to connect with people, and so that's great. Like, that you were on that side of you're doing it. You were doing it back then. It was like 140 different Facebook pages.
Yeah, literally, because it was 140. So we have, they have several different programs, and so
that's crazy.
I know, and so it was crazy. It was a crazy idea, and we were just like, you know what? But why are we going to limit? If I am a potential student and I pick a nursing program and the nursing enrollment counselors don't have a Facebook page, so that nurse is at a disadvantage because we didn't choose that school of enrollment counselors. We decided we don't want to limit any of our potential customers to not having a choice in how they can communicate with us, because we gave them a choice. It's like, here's 3 ways to reach me: phone, email, and I also have a professional Facebook page. Another way that you can reach me, especially if you're busy and you have quick questions, you can just private message me and things like that. And, majority of the time people loved it because it was a cool differentiator. We're an online school and we're communicating online. Great.
Right.
And B, it just had the personalization, the humanistic approach of real people that genuinely, like, these enrollment counselors, 140 people is a lot of people, but that company, that school hired great enrollment counselors. Like, they really were passionate about making sure that students were the right students for this school. And if they weren't, they would actually say, probably shouldn't go here because we don't have that program, or you're not, online is not the right fit for you. It's not the right fit for everybody. Things like that. And so it was very much not a sales role, because it was more of a consultative role. So imagine having that on social media. That's a good mix. And it worked out really well for them.
Yeah. That's good that they were open enough to allow that.
They weren't. It's just like anything, right? You can't expect 140 people to be on board. Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's still the case. There's still people that kind of are like, oh gosh, but that's just change management. It takes time, and you got to get the leaders on board, and made some pretty good strides with it over the years. But I mean, the leadership was, definitely the ones that signed off on it. They signed off on my role. They took a big leap here, and I'll always be grateful for that, because obviously that gave me the ability to really, grow and learn quickly, and got me to this point now, which I'm very, very excited about, because this is like where I'm at right now is really this is where I should be. Like, I totally love higher ed, right? Like, that's a great thing. Education's fantastic, but I've always been a geek. I've always been like, tinkering with technology. I mean, my wife probably, gets frustrated with all the gadgets that I'm purchasing half the time. And I used to build computers and stuff and be into gaming and all of that. And so now I'm in the space of mobile apps and mobile. And like, there's a desk in our office where they're testing out, new apps that they're designing for the Apple Watch and for the Moto 360 and for brand new iPhones and for huge screen phones. And like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, do I actually work here? Like, this is fantastic. So, and I get to do social media in that space. So I feel like I finally reached my career, not just as a profession, but also in the industry. And that's why I love like talking about this kind of stuff, MobCon and what we do. And I'm just getting started, but it's going to be a crazy ride.
Yeah. So so let's talk about MobCon. You're the social media manager for MobCon. Thanks for the props, MobCon.
I don't know who's doing that. I don't know who's doing that.
Who knows? It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle, and embedded in an enigma. So you manage social media for MobCon. Take me through, like, because I know when we do an event for my company and I manage social media for the event, it's nothing close to like an event like that where there's all these different tracks and breakouts, and how many speakers is it like 50 speakers that you guys have? Or
yeah, it's around there. Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean, there's bigger conferences, but this one is like, there's a lot of people. There's a lot to grab a hold of, and if you're trying to manage that as the social media manager, let's geek out a little bit on being social media managers. How do you do that? Like, what? Walk me through, like, the before, the during, the after. How do you prepare for that? How do you manage that during the event, and then after? What's kind of the type of stuff that you're responsible for?
Yeah, it's a great question, and so this is so I've had experience covering conferences in the past, but not conferences that we've put on. Mm-hmm. So when I was in higher ed, I went to conferences that we had a booth, and we ran our own social media campaigns at that booth in the expo hall. So and it was very successful. Like we had a hashtag, but we were one small piece of this huge conference. Now I'm actually, like you said, managing a conference, social media strategy, execution, promotion right now, awareness, branding, and coverage, and then also keeping the conversation going after the conference. So I'm very excited about this because obviously there's a lot of ideas, but I know for a fact that, 3 months down the road, when we're at our next conference, our next conference is going to be in San Francisco, January 26th. So not even that far away. But when I'm at that conference, or when we're about to start that, I'm going to look back at this one in November that's happening in a week and a half. I'm going to be like, man, what was I thinking? Like, I know that each time I'm going to learn so much. So I'll tell you
unavoidable.
I'll tell you what I have in mind and what we're doing. And I think it's a pretty, it's a standard strategy for a conference, but at the same time, we're taking it a step up. And I'm excited about some of the things we're going to be doing, which also consists of this little Blab platform. So, so how it works is, I'll start with the before, the during, and the after. So before conference, it is all about getting the buzz out there. And, a good example of this, and it's been exciting to see this work, is, I started in early August at this company, and really just started hitting the ground with, doing some listening. I leveraged Twitter a ton just because that's where you're meeting like-minded individuals. It's a public-facing channel. There's a lot of chatter in the tech industry out there about, technology and mobile strategy. And so I just did some hashtag research. I did some keyword research. I use TweetDeck a lot, which is a tool I use to just do free social listening on different streams on Twitter. TweetDeck, but for those that don't know, is owned by Twitter. It's tweetdeck.twitter.com. You can check that out. It looks kind of chaotic, but it's actually a really cool tool once you get used to it. Anyway, I started just making connections, having conversations with people as the MobCon brand. And when we started to do promotion codes, like right now we have a promo code for 30% off. When I started doing those things and tweeting them out, it was fun because I had my own Twitter promotion code. So the marketing department that I worked with, we make different promo codes for different strategies. Like there's an email strategy that goes out, same percentage off, but it's a different promo code. And so like my promo code on Twitter is usually Twitter guest. And so what we see on the back end is we can then see where the most registrations are coming from the conference based on promo codes. And it's been cool because I've gotten a lot of social media registrations. So it shows right away I'm validating the need for my role, promoting the conference and making people aware of the conference and generating interest, but also getting them to sign up for it. So, and then the other thing is is really, getting people around the hashtag, which we're going to start seeing more within the next week as the conference gets closer, people using it and looking for it.
But are you doing MobCon or MobCon US?
Yeah, it's hashtag MobCon. So, if you search for hashtag MobCon right now on Twitter, you're going to see a lot from MobCon, but you're going to start to see things from speakers, from staff, and just from attendees. People are starting to come out there, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But leveraging the hashtag is huge. And so one of the ways that we've seen really kind of a cool natural lift is when people go through the registration process and they finish registration through Eventbrite, there's a prompt right afterwards that we've worked onto our site where it pops up as that final screen and says, congratulations, or, we look forward to seeing you at MobCon. And then there's a click to tweet link that I just created. It's a free service, click to tweet. You can Google it, and it creates a custom tweet that they don't even have to write. And it has a hashtag in it. It says, I'm going to MobCon. Are you? Check it out. It's got the link, and we control what it says. They can change it, but most people don't. And people have been pushing that out after they register, and it's just building awareness because they're pushing it out on their network with their connections. So little things like that really go a long way. We still use, there's a Facebook MobCon channel, and there's a LinkedIn MobCon channel, and there's value in that because it allows people to, if they're on Facebook and they're just kind of curious if there's anything going on with MobCon, they don't have to go somewhere else to find out. They can find it there. But we definitely have the most traction on Twitter. So we're going to be doing that. And then I'm also created a Periscope account. So this leads into the secret sauce that we're going to be bringing into MobCon at the conference. Created that a few weeks ago, and tomorrow I'm going to be doing a little scope about that. But I've been doing little periscopes behind the scenes as the office, little kind of tips and tricks and fun little tidbits about keynote speakers, like just short 10-minute periscopes. I've been putting those out there and generating a following on Periscope for the MobCon brand.
Yep.
And obviously these blabs, these have been great. So during the conference, we're gonna have big 60-inch TV screens that are going to be throughout the conference with live. Their tweets are going to show up, pictures are going to show up. We're going to have a step and repeat banner with our logo and a hashtag. People can kind of walk up just like they do at like a red carpet. There'll be photo lights, and you can take selfies on there. We're going to have someone taking pictures on a nice camera too, and hopefully encouraging people to share their experience. But in addition to just typical conference hashtag stuff, I am very excited. If you haven't, and I know you read this because you saw the blog post, but I have a friend coming out here, Anna Hendricks. Anna Hendricks is a social media professional like us. She has her own, she's the CEO of her own agency, which is called Arc Digital Agency. Yep. I'll actually put the link here in the comments if you guys want to check her out. But she's someone that I got connected with through our circle of friends, through Carlos and all of those great people. And it's been a joy being connected with her through Snapchat, Facebook, all those things.
Yeah, she does Snapchat a lot too. Yeah, her yoga and
honor thy body hashtag that she has. Yeah,
your nephew.
Yeah, exactly. So see, we all know her, and she also has a really good mindset with social strategy, and so I felt like her and I, personality-wise, we really kind of meshed, through some private snaps back and forth, conversations that we've had on social. And so, I brought this up to her, and she loved the idea. And really the reason why I had to look for somebody is because I'm going to be managing the live hashtags. I'm going to be doing, HD video recordings with a nice camera that we're going to have. I'm going to be obviously tweeting as MobCon and, promoting that hashtag coverage. I also want to be doing these live streams, and I can't. So Anna's coming in as our core live streamer. She's going to be using Periscope and Blab, and she's going to be, doing behind the scenes coverage. So really the people that aren't at the conference are going to get a really unique experience. So like anyone watching this, anyone that sees the recording, if you haven't already, check out MobCon on Twitter, hashtag MobCon, and also look at it for our handle at MobCon US, and follow us on Periscope. You're going to be able to find us quickly through MobCon, that username. because you're going to see her interviewing some of our keynote speakers before they even speak, with some secret sauce recipes of what they're doing with mobile strategy. I mean, we have one of the creators of the Cartwheel app from Target. She's speaking. We've got someone from Mashable speaking, someone from BuzzFeed speaking, Microsoft, Adobe, Pandora, Fitbit. I mean, there's like big brands that are speaking.
Oh yeah, you beat me to it. I was gonna. I had the list all ready to go. USA Today, Yahoo, Oracle, Salesforce, IBM, Pinterest. You said HubSpot, Pandora, Microsoft, BuzzFeed, Marketo, and then now, of course, of course. I mean, the highlight for a lot of us that are blabaholics and blabbers is Sean. I mean, Sean, the fact that he's going to be there, I think is really cool. Was he a later addition than some of the others?
Yeah, so it was so surreal how this went down. So for those that don't know, Sean is the CEO and founder of Blab. So anyway, he was a late ad. He was a late addition, and we didn't even have a spot for him. But our management team, the conference management team, the guy that actually brought me to the company, his name is Tom. He knew, he's like, this is brilliant to have someone like him come in and be a thought leader for, a company that some people may not know about, but like this is a big change, a big shift in video calls and video conferencing and just, how we communicate. So I didn't know Sean personally, never spoke to him. But originally I went to Brian because I knew that Brian had, obviously early on with Blab, he had been in some Blabs with him and stuff. So I went to Brian Fanzo. Brian was great, really, really open to getting me connected. But as we know, Brian I think he was in like three places in 1 week or something like that. He was traveling like crazy. And I had like this really, really short timeline. So I was like, I don't want to bother Brian, poor guy. I mean, he was super nice about trying to, figure it out for us and everything. But the connection just didn't happen quick enough. So I asked Carlos Gill too, because I've seen a picture of him, I think, or something with him and Sean. So
yeah, he's in San Francisco. He went to the headquarters and hung out with them shortly. Yeah.
Right. So he right away, as soon as I sent this, I was actually driving to Wisconsin to see some family for the weekend. He started a private Facebook message, and had Sean in there because he's connected with him. And anyway, Sean was like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you. It sounds interesting. This I want to learn more." And it didn't happen for another week. But I thought it was done. But Sean's also busy with this platform. So I just went out to Dairy Queen, got ice cream. It was like 7:30 at night. I was treating my wife. I got home, was eating my ice cream. It was like 7:30, and he calls, and I didn't know who it was, but I answered the phone. It was him. I was like, my gosh, I thought I was like a celebrity. So I like talking to him, and he was super interested about the conference. He wanted to know a little bit more about, the audience, who's there, who's speaking, what the general purpose of the conference is. And then he was just really stoked about it. He's like, this sounds amazing. I definitely want to be a part of this. And he said yes. So he's going to be speaking from Blab. He's coming out there. It's amazing. He's speaking the second day. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing Blabs with him as a host, live on the scene, in addition to Periscopes. But I saw that Colleen, she just popped in, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. That's the person I was thinking. I haven't met Colleen. But
we were talking about you, Colleen, if you could hear this, giving you love earlier today. We were talking about people that we've met in the social space. And I said that we had some memorable moments.
And feel free, Colleen, if you want to jump in, you can, absolutely. But yeah, the with Sean, I mean, they're always in Blabs all the time. Like they're constantly jumping in stuff. Him and Brittany and the CTO for Con, and like the engineers, and I mean, they're always,
which is fantastic. That's why this product is becoming better and better and better, because they're in the thick of it, learning, taking our feedback. I mean,
makes sense. I mean, they're smart. They're smart to do so, right? You would think that any sort of app or platform like this, they would do that, right. But they maybe don't all do that. But yeah, so and then it was funny because the other day I don't know how I just ended up down like a YouTube rabbit hole. I was at the library, and I ended up seeing like iteration one of when Sean and Furkan presented Blab.
Yes, like over a year ago, right? Like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it looked really different.
February of 2014, I think.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and they came on. They're like, yeah, we're with Bebo, and you guys know Bebo, but nobody knows Blab, and it looked totally different.
Right,
totally different.
Yeah,
and I wasn't expecting it to look like that, because the first version that I had ever seen was from the Medium post that they have up of when they got kicked out of the office, and it's essentially how they come up with Blab as it is almost right now.
Yep.
And it was like, the white background with the boxes and all that. And when I saw that one, I was like, oh man, that's almost, I don't think I would have liked that. That first other version. It was like just a messenger. It was like a Yahoo Messenger IM thing, and it's like that wouldn't have done it for me. But then this, and that, it was almost like Snapchat too, because you could send the little quick videos.
Right. Yep.
And it was just too much like other things, whereas this is its own thing entirely.
Yeah, totally.
It's the best of everything. So the conference, I mean, are you going to be, do you find yourself, well, actually, let me ask you this first. Is this the first conference that you've done, or you've done other conferences for them before?
No, this is going to be the first one.
First one. Are you anticipating that you're just going to be running around like a maniac, or are you going to be able to enjoy what you're actually doing, or what?
Well, I mean, it'll be both. It'll be both.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be, because like you said, there's breakout sessions, right? So there's going to be, 2-3 speakers speaking at the same time, outside of the keynote presentations. So, I mean, we'll be able to divide and conquer a little bit, between Anna and I, but the reality is, I'm going to be popping in and out of places. That's going to be a blast, because I love doing that. Like, I'm going to be looking for moments. I'm going to be looking for, we're going to have some pre-planning that Anna's already doing, in terms of looking at, specific keynote speakers, the ones that we're seeing a lot of buzz from, and there's a lot of them, but making sure that we pull them aside, well before they speak. So behind the scenes stuff, showcasing some of the stuff that's going on in the expo hall, in addition to this, the presentations. So, I mean, it's going to be a consistent just chaos of awesome stuff. And also just responding to all the chatter. I really want there to be, a lot of online activity from people outside the conference. Because here's the thing, like some people might say, why are you trying to get people outside of the conference that aren't paid attendees to get something out of this? Well, here's the thing, like we're not going to be selfish. People that are paying for the conference, no matter what, they're going to get like this holistic, amazing experience, because they're going to be able to sit in on a full presentation, and they're going to be able to network with the people that are there on site. They're going to be able to go to the expo hall and be able to talk to people and learn about things. We also have we're really big into startups and promoting startups. So we're going to have a mini session called Mob Demo, where we're highlighting 5 to 6 startup companies that that have been selected based on their either kind of loose app that they have or their idea for an app. And the audience is going to be able to vote based on the presentation of someone that's going to win. They're going to win prize money for development credit and be able to create their app. Last year's winner was a mom that created an app for parents that are on the go, and her app is blowing up. It's crazy. So covering that cool thing that's going on outside of the presentations is fantastic. So it's going to be great. It's going to be busy. I'm going to love it, but I want to make sure that the external audience has a unique experience, because what's in it for them is they're going to learn a little bit about mobile strategy. They're obviously going to learn a little bit about MobCon and what we're all about. And the fact that we're going to start traveling to different cities next year, hopefully if we're close to their area, they're going to be able to actually attend in person and digest even more knowledge. And so in addition to that, people that are on site and are following the hashtag, they may be able to connect with people that aren't at the conference that share similar thoughts or passions, And that's the whole thing. That's at the end of the day, that's what I want out of this whole thing, is to connect like-minded individuals to make sure that our mobile community expands and grows, and ideas are generated that go above and beyond what we're currently seeing with mobile out there. And I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We just have to kind of wait and see.
That's awesome. I mean, that as you brought up a good point about getting people outside of the event involved, because I don't think that always happens unless there's certain events where it will, because they're big enough, they've been around long enough, maybe like Dreamforce or what's that, the Google, is it Google G1 or the Google conference they have every year, the Google I/O.
Yeah.
That's fine. The only reason I remember that was because the company I used to work for, we used to try to jump in on that hashtag because it was called I/O. But with the people, the audience that's attending your conference, and it even says on the website, right? I mean, it's not necessarily like social media people.
No,
it's tech heads and not even really marketers, right? There's some marketers, but it's more like developers maybe, or mobile minded, mobile development minded. Or you tell me. I mean, who do you see as the audience that's attending?
Yeah, it's a lot of different pockets of people. So I think at the core, it is definitely people that are in mobile marketing. So, if you think about marketing strategy on the mobile, right? Like if a company like Target has a mobile app, which we know they do, Cartwheel and various things, like what are some interesting things that they could be doing to reach their consumers or retain their consumers in a flooded market, with your Walmarts and your Costco's and all these things? Like what are some things that they can do? So that's one area. So marketing, but obviously the IT world that creates mobile apps or mobile web or responsive websites that are responsive for mobile phones as well. Like talking about strategy with that, like what is going to be the right strategy for 2016? Big topics are going to be wearables, like how is wearable should be in your space, or should it not be in your space based in the business? What should you be looking into there? User experience, user interface design, getting data, taking big data, all the data that you're collecting from the usability of these mobile apps. Like what can you do with that data to better serve your consumers? So all of that all lies into IT from the development standpoint of what they need to create, all the way to the marketing side of how they can, execute that and get that information from those devices. But on top of that, there's also, I could see venture capitalists being a big, interest in this, where they are seeing some of those startup companies. There's a lot of startup companies that are going to be here too. And obviously with Mob Demo, that are people that are demoing these ideas for a startup, or they have a startup and they're trying to get a mobile strategy in place. Venture capitalists would be very interested in being there, because they're going to be able to hear some of these ideas and really, have conversations with people as they're getting into something that could be huge, and being able to support those startups. So venture capitalists, another one. And then the final one is, honestly, it's a huge networking opportunity at this conference. So
always.
Recruitment is huge. I mean, Target, brings a lot of people in there because they find it as just a great pool of talent to network with and keep in touch with. And so networking is huge. We see a lot of staffing agencies come there and talk to people and look for different skill sets. So it's across the board. It's not just to sit down and get information. This conference is about ideas. It's about talent. It's about possibilities.
Yeah. And so the reason I was asking, it was more so, and you could probably imagine where I'm going to go with this, because you were talking about getting people outside to talk about the conference and use the hashtag.
Yeah.
I think potentially that may be easier than the people at the conference, because I think some of the people at the conference are not necessarily social media, jumping on with hashtags and things. Just in my experience with some of that audience, it's not a bad thing. It's just the nature of it. But probably when they're there, if there's an active, which you're obviously going to have that, there's an active thing happening with the hashtag, and it's going to be everywhere. Like, here's the hashtag, here's the hashtag, here's the hashtag. People are they're going to realize it. So not that it'll be an issue, but I know that, like, I'm aware of it. I'm going to be paying attention to it, to the conference. Yes. So that means that absolutely. And the network I'm a part of, they're going to be like, again, back to Fanzo, like he's a huge like software app guy, like a ridiculous app guy. So I know he's going to be paying attention as much as he can amongst his 50 other things that he's doing that weekend, or those couple of days. But you know what I mean? Like it's, and then of course, just being friendly with you, like we're connected. Like I want to support you, what you're doing, just as a friend. Yeah, absolutely. That's how, and I feel like that's how a lot of the community is. Not that there's like a clique, but there's friends I have that if they're doing something, I'm gonna go retweet their stuff and share it and make sure it's getting out there as much as I can to help. But
I can't, like, that's huge because and I would do the same for all of my good connections that I have through this amazing network that I have built up with you guys, because it's, we all get it, but at the same time, there's genuine passion there about what we're all doing, and one of it's support. But like you said, like, Chenzio, I mean, he's someone that I would hope that, with what he's doing, what he geeks out over, like maybe he'll get a few tidbits of knowledge there that he can either jump in on and talk about, or at least learn some things too. I mean, at the end of the day, I want this to be for anyone that looks into it. I want it to be valuable, whether there's going to be fun things. And to your point about the hashtag thing, we've had conferences for the past 5 years, and there really wasn't a heavy hashtag promotion, but there was still a hashtag. They knew enough to have a hashtag, and they didn't have the capacity to do much more than that. But there was still, here and there was still some social media, energy going on, and not enough to really please the two of us here, but there was enough, and that's why I'm bringing the screens in, like in the actual presentation rooms. We're gonna have the AV team, flip over to the live stream as they're waiting for the next speaker to start, and then flip back. It's gonna be buzzing everywhere, and I think, to that point, to anyone that does anything with conferences or anything like that, I tell you, man, these screens, and a lot of these bigger conferences do even more with the screens, but be able to show your tweet, like when you see your tweet up on the big screen, like it does something to that person. Like,
absolutely
cool. Or if they see people's tweets of that, I gotta do something because I want to see if my tweet shows up, and that's so cool. But it really gets people excited. So that visibility is hopefully going to help.
Oh yeah, we do. At the events that we do, we usually have like a good size monitor TV screen, and we'll do the company that we use for the events. They provide a social wall option, and theirs integrates with Twitter and Instagram. So I usually set it so you can only see pictures and no retweets and all that. Like it's customized.
Yep, sure.
So people, they love it. They see their picture of themselves up there. It's not even just words. It's here's our picture of us posing next to this. And we do a scavenger hunt thing where they do like 10 questions a day, and they're online, or they have to go take a selfie with something and post it into the app that has a scavenger hunt. They win prizes. It works for certain things, certain types of conferences it would work. Not everything it would work for. But anything that generates that engagement is big. I mean, it's huge. And the fact that they have someone dedicated to it, that your role is occupied now, that's big. That says a lot about that they recognize that they need that. It's when you don't have someone in that role, it's just they think they can. Maybe they didn't think this in the past. They just didn't have someone in the role. But a lot of companies think, oh well, we don't have someone dedicated to it, but we have this person or that person or this combined group of people that, they use Twitter. They use Facebook or Instagram, and they'll create a hashtag and go and tweet and post some things, and it'll be great and it'll go viral.
No, yeah, and and I think the great thing about MentorMate and in getting things going for MobCon over the years is obviously the first couple of years, it's tough because you're trying to see how successful this is going to be and how people are going to respond to it. But the thing is as this organization, I mean, MentorMate as a company has grown significantly recently as a mobile application development company. Like we've grown immensely over the past year or two. And with that growth, they're now able to invest in making sure that they have a very, solid marketing department that is going to be, like to your point, to be able to enhance certain things all the way down to, an email strategy, to a blog strategy, to a conference coverage strategy. And so, it was awesome to be able to go into the organization, not really feel like I had to sell myself. Like they understood the value and the need for this, and that this was obviously past due, but now was the right time to do it because they could make the investment without any questions being asked. And already I've been able to show the value behind it. There was no doubt, but it's been fun to see the online community respond, and also I feel like I'm just basically amplifying my passion in the industry, and people, are responsive to that. I'm doing it, as myself, but also as the brand, as fly up there. There we go, as MobCon, but I also make sure that I'm transparent with that too, and that people see that I'm the person behind the posts. So I've had several people that follow MobCon and then quickly follow me because in the MobCon profile, it shows that I'm the person behind the tweets. And I want to be transparent so people know that, whether you want to connect with a person or you want to just stay connected with the brand, you have the choice. And, the voice is going to be the same between both. So,
and to that point, with the event itself, I mean, I know, so you're going to be doing a lot of Anna's going to be doing a lot of the live stream with the Periscope type feeds and that sort of thing. And then Blab, you're going to be using that. One of the things that kind of struck me when I first started getting on Blab, one of the uses that like immediately came to mind was conferences. Like, how cool would it be for a conference to ahead of time, say the week leading up to it, or in the times leading up to it, if they worked it into the speaker's contract or whatever, where they also would do like a half hour or 20 minutes, whatever session on Blab with whoever wanted to be in it. Now it's obviously public, so it wouldn't be something that you would include with the ticket price necessarily, but
right. Just
for promotion purposes, for awareness, promotion purposes, and they can connect with whoever jumps in there. And then maybe, if it's ahead of time, someone's, that person's pretty cool and I want to meet other people and I want to go buy a ticket,
Yeah. It's a brilliant idea. Honestly, it is, because I think that kind of falls in line with the goal that I have, and there's a lot of things that I'd love to do, and I hope that I'm able to do in the future. But the goal is really to provide. I want to make sure that while this is a smaller conference, 500-600 attendees, kind of intimate, that it's a unique experience, like that we capitalize on the fact that it's not this like inbound or Dreamforce conference.
Right. It's more of a social fresh.
Yeah. Because you could do things like that. And I think the speakers would be open to doing things like that. I mean, not all of them, but I'm sure some of them would be open to it. But that is a brilliant idea.
Sean would be.
Totally. Yeah. It's a brilliant idea. It's just, I would love to promote his platform too, but that's not something that I've executed on. It's not something that I thought of, honestly. So whether it's this conference, I don't think we're gonna be able to pull it off because of timing, and there's I also want to be
Oh,
sensitive
yeah.
to the messaging. Like, I wonder how much they're getting for emails about, planning and next steps. And I think I need to work that into, in future communications, like try to, and this is just for anyone watching, like, just, I think this is a great thing for you to bring up. A, it's a great idea, but B, thinking about the execution side of it. For anyone that's thinking of this in the business standpoint, this is what goes through my mind when I think of another idea that I totally want to do. It's like, well, hold on, Ryan, like, how much are they getting messaged? What are they getting messaged with right now? How can I implement that into the messaging to see if there's anyone that'll bite? And can I do that now? I don't think so. But to your point, be a brilliant thing to do, because it would also generate buzz. I think it'd be cool too, like if there's some attendees that are going to the conference and they hear about this and they're actually able to talk before the conference to some of the speakers. Like, that's such a cool thing. In addition to an external audience, I think, like, if you pulled in one or two people that are actually going to the conference and like being able to have like a one-to-one with them that they might not be able to do at the conference because of time restraints or just all the other people, things like that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, or even having, maybe it's not even where people jump in and start peppering them with questions or trying to talk to them, whatever. Not that they wouldn't be open to it, but maybe it's like these individual sessions of 4 speakers, and it's them on the Blab, and you can jump in and you can ask them, put questions in the comments, of course, but it's them like talking shop pretty much, or just talking whatever. Maybe they get a topic, and I wasn't saying, you should do this right now. I just meant like, it's something I kept thinking about, because then when Michael Stelzner from Social Media Examiner jumped in Blab really early, I asked him, I was kind of like peppering it. I'm like, hey man, have you been to Social Media Marketing World yet, Ryan?
No, I haven't. I am planning on going next year.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's, for us, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to go. I in my last job, it just didn't fit into our budget. I went to Social Media Strategy Summit, which is a smaller conference, and I'm going to be speaking there next month too. It's a great conference. But
cool. Where's that at? Where is it?
So it's all over. So the one that I'm going to be going to in December, it's the 7th and 8th. I'm actually keynoting there, which I can't believe they're actually asking me to be a keynote speaker, but great. It's in Dallas, and you'll definitely be hearing things about that on all my channels. And then I'm pitching to speak in Vegas for another one of their conferences in February. Trying to see if my topic fits their conference, but it's smaller. So I actually put it in the plan for next year. They're good with it. So if you're going, that's going to be the moment, man.
I hope so. I've been lucky enough to be in a place where my company whatever company I was with, I got to go, and they sent me, and I like made sure, like the last job, or this job I'm in now, I was like, before I got the job, I was like, hey, there's this conference in March. I need to go to this thing, and I learned a lot. It's honestly this last time we went, it was more about meeting everybody, and not that I didn't meet people the other two, but like I could have not gone to any of the sessions in all honesty this time, and just met, because I met McEwen, I met Chris, I met Carlos in person after talking to him forever. Right. Brian was there. I knew him anyway. I'm trying to think who else, but there was like this whole a group of people that we hung out, and it was all, I mean, Ted was there, had dinner with Ted with a big group of people.
Crazy.
Kramer, Joel Comm, like it was just really cool. And that's how it is. That's the feeling, even though there's about 2,000 or so people that go now, it's up, it's growing. Mm-hmm. It still feels intimate, and that's cool. That the networking part, and they do a good job too. I mean, Michael Stelzner is really good at it, but the thing I was thinking about was with Blab, like have kiosks or something, like have some sort of a kiosk with like a monitor or a laptop, whatever it is, set up, and there's a Blab station, and they're all over the the event, or there's 4 of them around the event, and you could have them there, and then you could have one square that's left open for people that want to jump in from anywhere else.
That'd be so much fun. And like just thinking like having just the Blab site open, like having it open as the MobCon channel or whatever, so they don't have to worry about signing in or you know, like how's this work. Put in, like, it just runs them through it. Like, put in what you want to talk about. I want to talk about, like, here are my thoughts from this keynote speaker.
Yeah, change the topic.
Right,
yeah.
Change the topic. Like, there's someone in there that kind of, almost like when you have, like, the self-checkout lane at a supermarket or something, or a grocery store, someone that is just there to kind of help you get going if you get stuck, and then getting them in there, giving them little earbuds and saying, okay, go ahead and share. And that would just be, I love that idea. And it's just that, like, honestly, like with Anna coming in, I feel like that was, I don't know how I got that approved, because it's an additional expense, and I haven't done this yet for this company. And so, but they trust me, and they know that we're trying to do something even more unique than just traditional conference coverage. But the point is like, I feel like we've got a lot going for us with what we're going to have. Like, I got some additional equipment that I got approved to get for our mobile devices to make the video and sound quality even better. But I'm hoping, to your point, that after this conference is done, and not only the content from Periscope and from Blab and from just our high-end camera that we get, like, and all the chatter and the analytics that I pull from the MobCon hashtag at the end of this, that the company will see this huge differentiator from our last conference in April in terms of social media coverage and growth on our networks and things like that, that the next conference and the conferences going into 2016, that we're going to be able to make investments like kiosk stations. I mean, it's just a brilliant idea. And that's the beauty of a tool like Blab, right? Is that it's perfect for that. It's perfect for that. So, yeah.
I think bringing in Anna is like that. Whatever the cost is, ultimately, and it may not even be right now or right after the conference is over. Maybe not show until next year. Yeah. But there's ROI there. I mean, there's someone that's gonna not know about you, and they're gonna catch that Periscope feed, or it's whatever, and they're gonna see what she's doing and be like, why am I not there?
Right.
Right. And then they're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna make a note, and when the tickets go on sale for next year, I'm in.
And this is a theme that I think goes beyond social media. The theme being, we're not just another conference. We're a conference that's looking to take a stand of being a new level of conferences. And I know this sounds kind of cliche, but I honestly, this is something that I was told right from the beginning, and I've actually seen it now in practice. That social media is one thing. We're trying to do some things that, of course, there's people like Brian that are going out to conferences and doing Periscope. I mean, this is things that are new this year, but they're not brand new for MobCon. But we're gonna break into that for this specific industry. Outside of social, from a conference standpoint, I didn't mention this earlier, but this is sort of a hidden secret that we're definitely going to be touting at the conference. But a typical conference, I'm probably going to ruin the stat, but if anything, this is a higher number than the actual number if I'm wrong. But I think at any conference, the average amount of female speakers is 25%. Again, it may actually be a lot lower than that, but it's at most 25%.
Sure.
We are at probably above 50%. We want to make sure that that talent is being heard, and that we make sure that we have equal amounts of talent on the stages. So like our keynote speakers, for example, so we have 5 keynote speakers, and Fitbit keynote speaker is a female, Heather. From Adobe, that's Matt. Another female speaker is from Pandora. She's the VP of Sales and Marketing at Pandora. Target, Target's keynote. So IBM isn't even a keynote speaker, but you're right. There's other speakers.
Right, as far as the keynotes, there's a lot of 5, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's 5 keynotes. One from the healthcare industry, one from Target, So one, two, three, four out of the, actually there's six. 4 out of the 6 keynote speakers are female. So we're very excited about that. And that's something that we're going to do at every conference going forward. We are not going to settle until we find people that are in the space. And women in IT too is a big opportunity for the industry. And I think whenever you have a good mix of talent, both male, female, they're going to bring a unique perspective to a strategy, unique perspective to a job. And that's why I think it's the way it should be. And so that's something that I'm personally passionate about, and the company's passionate about that. And we want to make sure people know about that. So I'm stoked. And that's why I feel like on the social side, I'm able to add to that by being, somewhat of a differentiator in the space as well.
I don't want to keep you all night, but we're on this topic, and we'll close it out on this.
Okay.
I'll put this Twitter handle in the comments, right? I don't know have you heard of those guys, those ladies, I should say, that app, Social Monarch?
No, I haven't. I'm looking at it right now.
So it's two women, cool. Based in New York. The app is called Social Monarch. I'm not an investor or anything like that. I know them. They actually, we got them to come and be a part of Social Media Day here in Phoenix back in June, cool. Because they were in town for about a month doing kind of like the pre-launch of the app. Phoenix is one of their target cities essentially, and right now they're here again. They're doing a hackathon for women, for girls. It's cool. She Hacks AZ is it's happening like this coming week, I think. But they are, I mean, they're pretty unique, I would say, just on the topic of women in IT, women in tech. Like, I think they're unique because it's them making the app, doing all the work, targeting the app is for women, really. It's a social media app for women to connect. Not honestly, social media is mostly women anyway. Right. But it wouldn't, like Ted Rubin always says about social media would be dead without women using it. Totally true. They do an awesome job, and they're just launching it. So I just wanted to put that in there. So if you want to follow them and connect with them, and I'll make sure they know about you too, because they're always looking to get connected with people. And that conference, if they don't know about that conference yet, I'd be surprised. But
yeah, and even if so I was thinking, like, even if MobCon could be a possibility for them, even like with Mob Demo, like we were talking about earlier. But on top of that, like, if there's any support that they need on MentorMate's side, because that's what MentorMate does, our core company, developing, supporting, even ideating on mobile apps. We have a lot of startups that work with us. But I'm going to make sure, I already am following them through MobCon based on your link, but I'm going to make sure I connect with them personally, and also on the MentorMate channel too, just so that way I can kind of make sure I see them in the feeds, and if there's any opportunity for me to promote what they're doing out there, whether it's through our brands or personally, I'll be sure to do that. Because I mean, just reading their bio, empowering women and startup connoisseurs, hacking and startup lovers. You're right. This is at the core of what we're passionate about too. So that's pretty cool.
And then do you guys, are you connected at all with HackerNest?
No.
That it's I mean, I think they're technically international, but they have, HackerNest has they call them splinter cells, unfortunately, but they have a splinter cell here in Phoenix.
Awesome. It's like, it reminds me of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, that's the Shredders. Yeah. Splinter. I don't know. Anyway.
No, there was Splinter, the rat.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Splinter. But yeah, HackerNest. That's another one. I'll make sure you guys get connected, because I work with them. I do their like social media at their events that they have every month.
Cool.
And the cell that's here in Phoenix just basically started up this year, and it's hackathons, developers, all that type of stuff. So they
Very
definitely would be interested again if they don't know about you guys already about the
Yeah.
conference and right. But
Yeah, I would say
yeah.
so. This is what I would say to the conference, based on just my assessment. Being here for several months now, is right now I wouldn't be surprised, especially outside of Minneapolis, if a lot of people don't know about MobCon outside of this circle community that we have. But I would say I would put a big, and I go to Vegas and I don't even put any money down on gambling because I don't know anything about gambling. So I'm not a gambling person, but I would definitely say, based on what we're planning on doing in 2016, we're planning on going, we've had 2 conferences this year, next year, 5 to 6, and all over the US. I guarantee you by the end of next year, I may not have any more hair, even though I'm already losing most of it, but it's gonna be a different story. People will know about MobCon, so I think it's cool that we're having chats like this right now. And Vincent, I think we're gonna look back on this together in a year's time, and hopefully have a good laugh at where we started with this. But we're just, the ideas that we have, the people that we're already working on for January. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because all we're doing is giving people a stage to share their ideas, and it's a stage that they need. And like I said, even from a female standpoint, like women leaders of this world, they just, I don't know, people aren't reaching out to them for the opportunities that they very well deserved, and so it's going to happen. I'm very excited where this is going, and I can't tell you how much of an honor it is that you're just genuinely interested and willing to hear about it and learn more about it and share this with your network. I mean, it's fantastic that you're doing that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna drop the link in here one more time for MobCon.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's like I said, when you mentioned it to me and for the first time, and I heard about MobCon for the first time, I was like, I always love conferences anyway. Like I would have loved to go if there's any way I could have gone. I absolutely would be there. But that's even though I'm a social media person, like that's still interesting. Like that's still I know I could learn a lot there. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to pay attention and be following along on the live streams and with Anna and you and on Periscope and everything.
Yeah.
So just follow the hashtag MobCon for that, right?
Yep, that's it. That's as easy as that.
Okay.
Literally, the hashtag will be everywhere. We are going to be on Instagram. We already are. We're, if on Periscope, it's the username is MobCon, and that's a lot of action is going to happen there. A lot of action is going to be happening through just the general Twitter, Instagram, MobCon hashtag, and follow me too if you aren't already. It's the same username as I have on Blab here. Ryan Pena. That same thing on Periscope, Blab, Twitter, all of that. Because I mean, I'm always, no matter what I do, whether it's my day-to-day activities or covering a conference, I'm there too. Like I'm sharing stuff as me as well as the brands. I mean, I'm on 2 phones at the conferences, different accounts and stuff, but it's just to reach different audiences. So it's really up to whoever decides to tune into MobCon when it's going on. It's I can't even, like, I'm so out of it right now in a way that I can't even remember the dates. I think it's the 17th and 18th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday. I know that.
Yep.
But anyway, it's just about 2 weeks from now. Yeah, 17th and 18th. And it's going to be crazy fun. Crazy fun.
It looks like it. And like I said, I'm going to be following. I'm going to encourage everyone I can to pay attention and watch, because no matter what, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. And I appreciate your support again. It means a lot. But
yeah, thanks for hopping on. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for taking some time out and staying up a little past your bedtime.
No, yeah, that's fine. It's good. I would do it any time, honestly. And if it was going to start at 10, like we were originally talking my time, I still would have done it. I think it's really, really flattering when people, like you and I, right? We meet through social, we meet through other connections that we're, close to. And at the end of the day, then I'm asked to be on a show. I mean, I would love to have my own show. I just don't have the the skills and time and knowledge that people like you have. But the fact that I'm being asked to be on shows like this, you guys are doing great things and getting a lot of thought leadership out there. It's just an honor to be included in that. So keep up the great work. And I will, when you reached out to me, it was honestly the first I had heard of this specific show, the SMC Phoenix show. And now that I know about it, I think what's in it for you too is I'm obviously going to be promoting it whenever I see it. Anna's got a show that she's on now. I've only tuned in once. I've only been able to, but I promote it whenever I can because being in it, I mean, it's you become passionate about it too. And I looked at some of your previous hashtag conversations before the show and some really cool people that were sharing some ideas. Look at this guy. He was lying.
Oh, geez. Yeah, my dog is asleep. He's out right there. My eyes would be watering and I'd be sneezing like a
big fur ball.
Crazy person. Yeah. That would kill me. That cat would kill me, literally.
Hey, your first Blab. Say hi. All right. Anyway.
Well, like I said, hey man, thanks for taking the time out. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll be interacting, whether it's on Blab or other places, some more again.
Hey, speaking of that, are we connected on Snapchat?
I just added you like tonight. I didn't even realize it. Yeah, so you should have that.
Cool. Okay, cool. Because you were talking about it earlier. I wanted to make sure we were connected because I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not connected yet with him. I didn't know if he was on it or not. So
just be warned. It's a lot of. I'm not the Snapchat and Drive person with the radio mostly. Once in a while, maybe, but it's mostly my 2-year-old. It's mostly my 2-year-old that ends up in there, which is what you'll see probably in there right now. She wanted to do the Blab for me tonight, and so I Snapchatted that. Yeah.
I think when you posted on Twitter, I saw that one video right before
I did started. That too.
Yeah. So that was cool. So when I saw that, it was like, well, I know that's from Snapchat, so like we got to connect. So, but no, it's seriously, it's just such a cool, right? When you're connected with people like on Blab and Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and then you get connected with them on Snapchat, it's just such a unique experience that kind of let people into more of just the rawness of our lives and unfiltered lives. And I mean, I do the same thing. My daughter and snapping with her and just I try not to do the driving and singing thing. If I do, it's just moments here and there. But just when those stoplight moments, what else are you going to do with your time? You know what I mean?
It's so funny, Ryan, because the other week or a couple weeks ago, I was doing like this little Snapchat series just to amuse myself, but I didn't really go full on. I only did a few, and I was like, for each person, like Carlos, right? Carlos loves to snap. Carlos Gill, for anyone that's out there that's watching this, Carlos loves to Snapchat and drive and have his radio, and he's singing to us, and he's pontificating and going off.
Fetty Wap. Fetty
Wap and Drake are in pretty much every Carlos Gill Snapchat.
Yep.
He's awesome. I love Carlos. Me and Carlos, I met him in person, like I said, at Social Media Marketing World. We spent our group spent the whole weekend pretty much together hanging out. So I got to know Carlos really well after only knowing him online. And
right. Yeah.
Super guy. But his Snapchat, I get such a kick out of it, and then you have like Fanzo. Fanzo is it's either his daughter's and they're going to get Dunkin' Donuts in the Jeep, or he's in an airport or on a plane. And, that's it.
Or popping an energy drink or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Working till 3 a.m., all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was doing that little series about I would do like a blank screen and put the words and be like, Carlos, is always doing this Snapchat and driving, and Brian is this. And I don't know. They didn't really respond, so I don't know if they really saw it, but I was laughing myself. I was amusing myself for sure with it.
So one last thing here, I want to give a shout out to, in case she's still listening on this, but Audra Knight, she subscribed early. I don't know her personally, but I've seen her on here and also I think on Twitter. I just wanted to thank her for being. She was basically in here the whole show, kind of listening in. So hopefully it was valuable for her. But just want to thank her for being in here as well and joining us.
I think that should be. There we go. And I'm gonna also shout out Patricia, who jumped in a little later, but she's been commenting with us here the whole time.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And, encouraging words. So thank you, Patricia, for being a part of it. And, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to. I mean, I recorded this whole thing, so I'm not that anyone's necessarily gonna sit and watch 2 hours, but I know I don't usually. What I like to do is I'll post it. I'll probably put it on our website, and I'll make some notes about like when certain things got talked about, so that way it's just easier for people to go to those markers.
Yeah, that's great.
If they can. Now that I'm thinking about it, shoot, I'm gonna have to put it on YouTube. I think upload it to YouTube to do that, because if I just do the file, there's not those markers on the video from Blab specifically. It has to be on YouTube to do that, I think.
You know, and you can tinker to. You probably have done this before, but when you have it on YouTube and you are in the sharing area, you know how you can have a timestamp in there where you can create custom links that start the video at specific times. You know, it's a little bit of work, but if you're already going to be listening through it to find time markers, if it's easier, you can kind of have like hyperlink chapters in your post and just have those hyperlinks go to those specific custom links. Something to think about.
Yeah, makes sense. And I know that's one of the things that that Blab has, the brain trust within Blab has talked about almost since I started on here a couple months ago, is they wanted to put markers on the videos. Like they want you to be able to go and where it's actually got the highlight points on the video that you like. While we're in the Blab, I would click something to mark it and be like, hey, this is where this happened. Or maybe it's even the title change, and that's marked, and then that tells the story too.
That's brilliant, because you know, like this Blab is a good example where you know, a lot of the Blabs are organic conversations. You have a general idea what your topic's going to be, but you get into something, and then you may get into something that's totally not related to what the initial Blab is, which is fine, but you might want to highlight that. Or maybe like 40 minutes into the conversation, you get into a really deep topic. You want to be able to highlight that as the moment. You don't know that until you're in it. So I think that's a brilliant idea. Maybe they can even do something when people, like the hosts, are changing the topic ideas. Like that's where it can kind of change the marker too, if it's, you know, if it makes sense. But anyway, all right, buddy, I'll let you go. You know what? Got a win with the daughter today. I don't think that's going to work every night of me trying to convince her to be quiet. We kind of did it as a game. I'm like, you know, if prove to me that you can you do this? I mean, a 3.5-year-old, I'm saying, show me if you can do this. She's like, I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to make any noise. You're going to be on the phone. Like, yep. Because last night, I'll tell you real quick, last night was awful. I don't know what happened, but she went on a screaming rampage. It was still like at this time yesterday, she goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and like 10 o'clock, she was screaming in her room, hyperventilating. We went in there, she wouldn't calm down. So we were just like letting it ride its course. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this is going to happen during my Blab, then, you know, like it would be awful. But it all worked out. So thanks.
It sounds like it did. Yeah. If anything, mine was almost an issue, because everybody was like coming home and being around at the same time. But all good. Well, again, right, Ryan, thank you. And appreciate it. And I'll let you know when all this is up and running. And if you want to push it out there. And,
I for sure will. For sure.
Cool, man.
All right, buddy.
Have a good night.
Take care.